Good morning. My name is Franz, and today I'm showing you a new filter to colorize an image called ReColor Image. This filter is in the normal filter track here in the colorizer group called ReColor Image. So I just put it in and it will expand by default to one frame. So what it does, it takes the black and white image, like here, and uses automatic colorization. So it's putting colors on it. And how it works, it's working prompt based. And we have a default prompt like colorize this image, realistic soft colors, historic style. And so this is the first result you would get out of this with the default prompt. Then the second parameter here is seed, which is different starting points for the recolorization generation. So I can go up and we can toggle through different seeds. So what we get is a different version of the colorization or different colorization suggestions. Okay, so but we could also try different prompts here and describe a bit more the scenes. So we could say uh, that we want to have a more red shirt on the cowboy on the left side. So I could write something, the cowboy on the right side should have a red shirt. And as you can see, it has seen this as a this has found this red shirt and colored it in a different color. Then I could say also I would have to have a more different kind of a jacket here, like a brown jacket. I could say light shirt and a brown gilet we call it. I don't know, but yeah, it's or maybe gray. Let's try gray. It was brown already. Okay, so that's probably more what I like. So I can describe here a bit more the things. For instance, I don't like the flowers here, so I could say uh, there are flowers, or green flowers actually, green flowers with white blossoms hanging down the hut roof. Yeah, and what it tends to be when I introduce color, it now thinks, oh, it's because I have green flowers, it's too green. So as I said, it is a desert scene, so I'd add this. Scene in the desert. Let's see if I can get rid of, so it's not that greenish anymore. Maybe it's relevant where I put this to. Resource colors. It's a scene in the desert. Okay. No. So let's try a different prompt. I have one here where I describe a bit more the scene. And let's go up and we can try the seeds again. Okay. Seeds. Okay. So as you know, with prompting, that's a challenge by itself, but the idea here is really that you can describe your image and you will get the colors. Um, the good thing is here that this model is local to the colorizer, so there is no images going up to the clouds and coming back, so everything is done here on this machine. Apart from the prompt, there are also possibilities to use color scribbles to colorize certain parts of the object. So how would we do that? Well, we need to paint color on it before the recolor image is done. So I need a track below this. A tool track will do the job already. And I have here different tools like colorize paint, where I just can paint some color on an object. Uh, Here we don't have colors yet, but we have created colors or a color palette before in a previous tutorial. So I will go in and load this. So we have now a color palette. And here we have, for instance, for Buster Keaton, we have the scarf. And this is a gradient map, so a color to different luminances for this scarf. And so we go in there and we roughly paint on this. And this will be used then as a color scribble uh, to change a little bit the color. The same thing is here for the blue. We can try, we have here the color of his shirt. It's bluer than the suggestion of this model was. So we can try if we paint here color scribbles to it, if it will accept a little bit more blue on that object. So here we get a bit more blue and this red part is gone as well. So we can give color hints with color scribbles and it will use it as an input to a certain extent. So the next thing is what we can do is on top of it actually to use a colorize mask, and I will insert it on the just this frame by holding down the shift key and press colorize mask. As I find track, it will create over here, and I could actually select an object and paint with my uh, colors which I have defined earlier. So we could go, for instance, into the hat for this because I don't like the color, for instance. I could go and select here my automatic object selector. I click on the hat. It will do a segmentation. It's too much, so I do a right click over here. So it's now limited to the head. Do some left clicks, here right click to make my selection perfect, and I get, for instance, this color on it. And let's also focus on the head for Buster Keaton. So I have here the head over here. So I click on that. Since it's a gradient color, so we have color to different luminances. So it's looking better. So I can go then in any detail I want to improve this very image. And the next step, so we see now a before after of this shot, but actually we want to have this over the time, yeah? So I need another filter, and this is the ReColor sequence. This is the new one. You could also use color transition, which we already had, or the colorize to put the color into the whole scene. But the new one here, together with the ReColor image to creating a reference frame, is ReColor sequence to use a reference frame over the time. So how we could do that, we put this, it's all over the time, and I have to tell the system which one is the reference frame. Well, it's this one. To make this to a reference frame, I call R. So this is not a reference frame. It uses this color from that frame to put it, to render the color on every image to it. So it's for every image, it uses then this reference as a source to colorize the rest of the scene. So we could look into it. What it does. So finally the scene is done. So we could play through it and we see actually here when we look at the right side, the guy was turning and it did not, the tool did not completely understand that. So what can we do? Well, I go to the first frame again and I can save me this image as a sample image actually. So I do this by right-clicking on my timeline anywhere, say grab still image, grab still one, so it will just save a copy in the system for this image now. Then I can go there. At the moment I will disable this, so I see this as black and white again. And I will go in there and use my recolor image as we had done before. It is using now the same prompt and does something, but what I wanted to show you is a second option is actually sample. So I can load an image sample as a basis and it tries to colorize the rest of it. So let's load still one. So let's remember this. So it's using this as a reference, creating that image. And what we could also do is, of course, I can use my colorize mask again to make this image better, so to improve it. So I will create a new color group over here, add group for my corrections. And I create a new color like the red shirt. And I learn this color from that image now. So I will go to here to the color, extract this to the learning tool, and I will just learn this color. So it has a gradient map now for this shirt. This is an option, and I use now my colorize mask. So I click here and select the shirt, for instance. To put on the color on the shirt. Here the skin tone is not good, so I make a correction skin. And actually, this would undo. I want to actually learn this skin tone over here. And go in, object selection, select this. So, and I could continue with all the things I want to do. So I have now another keyframe. So going back to my ReColor sequence, turn activate my recolor sequence again and make this as a reference frame as well. So I have now two reference frames and I will render this. So it takes now both reference frames into consideration to produce colorized frames in between. So let's render this. So finally the rendering is finished. Let's go to A and now let's play through the scene. And we see that this part is colorized better over the time since it has more reference frames available. You can have as many reference frames as you want. So here the colorization, and I go in a side by side, was done, sorry, in a difference mode side by side. I did it in a quick and dirty way, really. So if you want to have better colors or more control on the colors, you can have this. You would need to spend more time with colorize mask, for instance, to paint certain objects in more detail. But in this tutorial, I just wanted to show you the new tools like ReColor Image and ReColorSequence with the options to have a prompt for colorization, with the option to have scribbles for colorization, and how to create a second reference frame and how to improve reference frames by using colorize mask to colorize certain parts of the image. And finally, how to use ReColorSequence with one or several reference frames to put the colorization on the scene. So I hope this was useful for you and thanks a lot for watching this tutorial. Have a good day. Bye.